mission?
Level 5. 10 hours.
Gundam, what's your level of commitment?
Hello, and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey, chapter 156. It is the first day of the week, aka the Vulcan Raven workout. I am on my way to the gym right now. It is super early because it is my day off today. So I am going early because I might as well take advantage of it. / the gym closes early today, so I gotta do that. But anyways, today I'm feeling good, feeling great. A little tired, but nothing too crazy. Just not used to going at this time right now, so my body's kind of like, what is happening right now? But it is what it is. Gotta shock the muscles. But anyways, to the main subject matter at hand, which was actually something I hadn't thought I was going to talk about on here, but it is something that I might as well use this as a way to kind of like work through it. So why not? Giving up on a hobby, or I guess that's the only way to describe it really, is giving up on a hobby. This was something that was brought to my attention recently. There's just more so I was looking around in my room where I have my computer and stuff, and I was looking around and I noticed all of my boxes full of old Gundam model kits that have yet to be made, and I was like, oh fuck, when am I gonna do this? And then that's when it dawned on me, oh fuck, when am I gonna do this? And then that's when I started thinking, I don't know if I ever am gonna do this. And then that got me down a little bit of a rabbit hole to see if I could get any money from those, and I can, because I got some that are relatively valuable, thankfully. But also I was like, holy shit, this is something where I might have to sell these, because like I don't think I'll ever get the chance to do it, you know? And it's weird to think, because it was something where I'm like, all right, is this it though? And then is this the end? But I don't want to get into too much detail about like what I'll probably actually go through the list of determining whether or not it's time to call it for something like that. But generally speaking, it's weird to think about just stopping a hobby. That was just something that I wasn't fully prepared to even like think about, because I was like, oh fuck, I have to possibly just not necessarily just give up on it. I was gonna say not necessarily give up on it, but more so just like let it go more so. But it's weird. It's like a weird thought process and feeling / it's just interesting, like, because as a kid something like this is like, you don't even think about something like this. You kind of just like drop things and move along, really. But as an adult, you're kind of a little bit more self-aware about like your time and like energy and stuff like that, so you're just kind of like, oh, okay. And now for me, I'm just like, fuck, is it time to say screw it to this? Not because I don't want to do it, because I do want to do them. It's just more of a like time constraint of, when will I ever really find time to do this? And that entire aspect of it. This goes with other things, which we'll get into in the voiceover. The entire thing is kind of weird. It's like, wow, am I old? No, not necessarily, because people do this all the time. It's not necessarily just like an old thing. But I think there is something to be said about being older and knowing that you're just putting something off versus you're just not going to do anything, period. There's a big difference. I think that as you grow older, you realize that you're not going to do something. You're just going to not. Versus as, you know, when you're younger, you have the idea that you're going to do it eventually. You're just going to keep pushing it down the road, but you're going to do it. You're going to do it. And I think part of this also has to do with cleaning my garage out with stuff, because it has a bunch of stuff in there that I was like, why am I holding on to this? You know, you kind of have to ask yourself that a little bit, but that's a whole other episode for a whole other day. When it comes to a hobby, that one's a little bit more interesting, because I feel like more people can at least relate to it, because not everybody has like a bunch of old stuff of theirs that they're just sitting in a garage somewhere or in a basement. That's a little different. This is more of a, do I want to keep doing it? Will I continue to enjoy it? You know what I mean? There's a lot of questions and then a lot of like contemplation that you got to go through, but we'll talk more about it on the inside.
Alright, so started this day off with dips, which were great. Anyways, back to the main subject matter here. The choice of giving something up, really. And it's weird to think about, mostly because as an adult, you don't necessarily give up that many things. I feel like you give it up when you're younger, but when you're older, you kind of can pick and choose. But obviously you can let things fall by the wayside as responsibilities grow and things like that. And there are people who don't let the responsibilities grow and or are messing it up. So yeah, they have a tendency to make it so they prioritize the things that aren't helping out their life or shooing responsibility for other things. regardless, even if you are, let's say, a responsible adult or whatever, and you pick up more responsibilities, it is interesting to think of the choice of trying to give something up. And it's very interesting because it's not even like it's something that's, quote, bad for you or like some type of vice or anything like that, because it's a little different. Obviously, like, you know, those are things that you would want to give up because they are somehow putting a detriment either in your health or your life or whatever. They're being bad in your life for some reason somehow. But this is more of a activity for fun, which you kind of have to say goodbye to, which is such a strange thing to do. And I can tell you it's been a while since this video was recorded, but it was something that I kept thinking about and something that I've grown now okay with, basically, knowing that I'm not going to be able to really do this anymore, which is Gundam model kit making, which is not that huge of a deal. Funnily enough, they announced another one that I would actually really wanted to get, but then I was like, I could buy this, but then it's just going to sit there and collect dust, and God knows when I'll be able to do it. So this might as well just not buy it, you know? And I felt like immediate, almost relief when I decided not to buy it, because it was just like, it was as if it was going to be something to buy just to sit there. And that's how it feels most of the time when you're giving up something. It's like, or at least this is how it felt for me on the, like, for this specific thing. I was like, oh, okay. It almost feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Now, have I sold the things that I already have? Not yet. Am I going to? Probably, but I'm gonna give it a little bit of time. Who knows? Maybe some crazy shit will happen with this channel. Who knows? I could also sit on it because it'll probably go up in value, honestly, if I sit on it. So it's not that big of a deal if I just let it sit there. Regardless, it is something that I'm like, okay, this is it. Like, that's the end of that hobby. Now, could I bring it up in the future? Yeah, I could just buy the stuff and do it again. It's not that big of a deal, but I think I'm satisfied with this. Like, I'm satisfied with my own answer to my own question, really, and trying to figure out what it is. It's just interesting to really truly think about as a adult, because you don't really get the choice. You know, life kind of throws you different curveballs, so you kind of have to drop things as things come up or whatever. To have the choice is kind of nice in the sense that I'm choosing to let it go, not the world is telling me to let it go, although it is technically the world. But also replacing it with other things, because realistically I'm replacing it with the gym, which isn't the only thing I'm replacing it with, but I'm doing something that is not only betterment for myself, but also just more of a mentally clearing thing, and also more of a physical and mental help to my future, and also to my body and everything else, rather than just sitting here and following instructions on a piece of paper. Now, is it as simple as that? No. But I also understand it is not for everybody, but also it's just not something that I want to use my time for anymore. And that's like the hardest part, really, is just saying goodbye, because you're just not doing anything for me anymore. And the same thing kind of happened with video games, really. Video games I'll occasionally pick up if there's something that I really want to play, but at this point, video games are they're just fallen by the wayside, really, and it's really sad, but that's a whole other story for a whole other day. And if you're interested in any Gundams for resale that have not been opened, please let me know in the comments below.
Man, I just don't feel like doing this anymore, man. And we're back! Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed. None! Exercises skipped. Also none. Got everything in today. Managed to get everything in, even though they close early, and it's kind of nice. It wasn't too packed. It was actually pretty normal for a Monday around this time, so that was kind of nice. Didn't have to deal with all the bullshit of all the other people being there, hovering around and stuff, which is always annoying. Back to the main subject matter at hand. So, like I've probably said now and talked about it, the main reason why I was thinking about this is because there are times in life where you just kind of have to let a couple things kind of go, really, and it's kind of shitty, but it also just happens. It is part of life. You can't hold on to every single thing that you do all the time and expect it to all work out, especially with things like jobs and other responsibilities coming up and things like that. You kind of have to let other things fall by the wayside. At least as an adult, you can kind of pick and choose what you want to let fall by the wayside. But this is one of those things where it's like, damn, I don't want it to, but I'm going to either have to or try to do some weird bastardization where I do it like every once in a while, or like, you know, not enough to where it will be actually satisfying, but like a very small thing to the side that I actually occasionally do, but nothing that I don't pour my heart into or just do regularly. Now, could I cut back on the gym and then do more of that? Could I cut out this series and do more of that? Yes, I probably could. But do I want to do that? No, because these things, both of which, are more important to me and more fulfilling to me currently. I like editing a lot. I like making videos about and having the challenge of making a subject matter each day. It is something that I've been currently enjoying, as well as going to the gym. Both things. I'm combining both things that I like into one continuous thing, so it is something that I'll continue to do. That is why doing something like Gundam model kit making, which I do like doing, or Gunpla if I want to be short for it, I do enjoy doing it a lot, but it is something where it's just probably not worth my time doing. Like, it is something that is relaxing, relatively, nothing too stress filled. I just enjoy, like, just following the instructions and making something that's cool, but also it is something that I'd have to sit down and really like pen out and do all this other stuff too, and I'd have to like dedicate a certain amount of time, and it just seems like, even though it's cool to have that like robot at the end of it and or Gundam model kit, it's cool because you're like, oh, I did that, I poured the hours in, but it really will just end up sitting there on a shelf, and it might look cool, obviously, but it's just like, is that worth it to me at this point in my life? I have so many things that I've put on shelves now. Do I need any more? But these are particular ones that I made, and it's just kind of like, all right, I get it now. And now it's more of a, do I want to do this, or do I want to go somewhere else with it? Do I want to sink more money into this or not? And there's a lot of that too. I could get my money back for a lot of those model kits because I haven't touched them, so they should be resellable easily, especially there's one I know for a fact I'll get a good amount of money for, so I might end up doing that, but I'm not 100% sure about that. That's a in the future Oscar problem to deal with. Regardless, this is something where as an adult it kind of sucks when you kind of have to decide or just do this, but you kind of just have to let it go, I mean, really, and then move on and do other things, because there are other things that'll probably be more beneficial to you mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever, time-wise, it all just depends. But this is one of those things where it's like, you can't win everything, and this is one of those things. You can't have the be into a million things equally. I sink a lot of time and effort into this channel, plus working out. I do a lot of stuff for it, but I feel like that is well worth more my time than doing model kit. It is something that hopefully I can visit again later in life. It's not something that I want to let go completely, but it is something that for now I'll have to say bye to until I can either find a different job that I can work from home in which case I'll have more free time to just do that, or two, where I just make this my job and then thus I get a little bit more free time and then I can go back to it and maybe talk about it a little bit more. But it is something that it sucks, but it is what it is. With that being said, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this. This is one of those really interesting subjects because I didn't really think I would have to talk about this, but it is a subject nonetheless, and also something that I don't think people really think about per se. It is something that they just kind of do. They kind of just drop it by the wayside, but they don't really think about, like, oh, hey, I'm gonna have to actively stop doing this, you know what I mean? Like, so it is something to think about, but it is what it is. Well, with that being said, tell me what you think in the comments below. Tell me your thoughts, your opinions, stories, whatever it is. I would love to know. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I would love to know who would not like this. This would be interesting to hear that thought process. I will be on tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy. Peace.